I remember when I left school and started work.
His memory ain't gone.
I remember my sister Nell saying to me, because I'd been smoking Crail, like when I was...
Is that like tobacco, but different? I thought like Wales lived on that, didn't they?
I'm thinking of guano, it's all right.
No, that's pigeon shit. Oh, sorry.
Bat shit,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But when I was 11 years old, I remember the first time I smoked a cigarette. And I got a penny because you could go round to Ansley's, they're named a little sweet and tobacconist confections and so on. And outside on the wall,
Yeah.
there was a little self-service machine, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And you put a penny in, and you pulled a slot, and out came this little packet
Yeah.
that had inside it 2 cigarettes.
Yeah.
And 2 matches,
Yeah.
and the box it was in had a striking surface down the side of the box.
By your lung cancer
Right.
here.
So,
He was annoyed because he thought they were
you know,
condoms.
other kids, I see, and so I managed to save a penny and buy myself 2 Crail.
Yeah.
Now that's what started me smoking. I was 11 years of age.
But what would your mum or dad say when you smoked? Would you have gone home at
I
times?
didn't let my mother or father know.
No?
God, no, I'd have been in dead trouble if I had. No.
Did they smoke?
My dad, yeah. My mum never smoked.
Did she not? No? Your mum never
my
smoked?
mother never smoked.
Well, she
Never.
must have been the odd one out, was she? Right?
What do you mean? The odd one out of what?
Oh, because she didn't smoke. I thought everybody smoked, but you know.
Oh, no, my mother never ever smoked.
No?
No. God.
No, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm saying was she the odd one out?
Oh, no, some women smoked, you know, as well as men. Lots
Yeah.
of women smoked, but my mother just didn't.
Yeah.
You find a lot of women won't smoke when they're walking up the street.
My
Like,
mum won't
My
smoke
mum won't.
Yeah.
when she's walking
Yeah.
out.
She'll sit down and have a cigarette, but she won't walk along smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Now I'll get out the car and light a fag up and... No.
I remember when I left school, because my sister Nell knew I smoked Crail, you know,
Yeah.
occasionally.
I know.
And when I left school, she said to me, "Oh, Tom, you'll be able to go to work. You earn wages." She said, "and you'll be able to smoke.
There's a good bit.
You'll
Yeah.
be able to smoke Players Navy Cup." Well, that was a sort of
The best of the best.
best of the best players made it. Yeah, you'll be able to smoke that. Because,
Say smoke again.
from the Crail, 11 years of age, I did, you know, rise above myself and eventually get round to smoking Woodbines and Players Weights, which were a little bit dearer, you know, especially the Woodbines.
And none of them had tips on, did they?
No, you never had cigarettes with tips on in those days.
Well, I remember you used to smoke senior service, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Right, until I stopped smoking.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
I smoked serious.
I didn't like them much. I was always hoping you'd change to a one with Phil Rollins. I like them more.
You should have persuaded me.
I don't know. So how long did Mum smoke?
Mum?
Mum? My mum,
Mum
not your
smoked.
mum.
Your mum?
My mum.
Gosh. Mum smoked
You
religiously.
used to smoke senior service, were you?
Oh, wait a minute, what am I talking about?
You're talking about your mum?
I'm thinking of my mum.
My
Were
mum.
you saying
No,
your wife?
no, we were talking about your mum, now we're talking about
That's
our
what I
mum.
say, yeah.
Your wife, you remember her?
My mum never smoked,
Yeah.
but your mum smoked, same as me, from a kid.
In
And then
fact-
one day when she was 70, 2 or 3,
When you retired?
oh, after I retired, yeah.
It was after. I thought it was when you retired.
Oh, no. Well after I smoked for several years after I retired. I know, but then one day, and Now, I was never a person who ever smoked more than, never more than 20 a day. I mean, I never ever got to 20 a day ever in my life. But
He used to find there was 20 gone from his packet.
I'd smoke up to possibly 15, 14, 15 cigarettes.
16 or 17, yeah.
You know, and your mum was the same. She'd smoke 14, 15.
Do you remember Mum and Dad telling us to go up the road and buy 20 senior service? I think they were 2 and 6.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, up to Rockstars.
Yeah.
Cool, that goes back a bit, doesn't it? Rock stars, yeah. I went in there today and bought a packet of fags, believe it or not.
Back in the facts. That is so gay. Oh, dear.
I'm saving one till tomorrow.
Oh, well.
That's an Americanism, isn't it?
Just a bit.
Mm.
Where's your drink, Dad?
Oh, it's in the other room.
Come on, I can't get it for you.
Get you a beer. Oh, God. So, do you know what it says on this wallpaper here?
No.
It's probably disgusting, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, it's probably all sorts of dirty
All the
remarks.
graffiti.
Yeah, dirty remarks, that's what it is. Thank you,
Everything.
Steve.
Oh,
You
You got-
got what it says.
No.
What?
What it says on the wallpaper.
Cross, I wouldn't put it on the wall.
Basically, Stella Pitomati.
You
Yeah.
did this 3 years ago.
Well, that'll get done eventually.
It might, or I
Hey.
have to change it.
There is a difference, let me tell you, Sharon. If you were engaged or just boyfriend, girlfriend,
Be done by
it
now.
will be done.
Yeah.
What did I say to you the other
And
day?
you're married, what do you expect? Don't be
When you first
stupid.
moved into Wellmeadow, it was, oh, which room do you want me to do first?
Thanks, Steve, that's all right. Lovely, thank you. Thank you.
Has it got enough head on it?
It is
Tell me
age.
about, what about drinking? We never talked about drinking. Like, when did you have your first beer, or was drinking a big thing?
Drinking, I didn't start drinking until
Until he was 13.
I was 17,
Yeah.
I'd say about 7, I wasn't 18, I think 17 years of age.
He couldn't afford to drink and
You
smoke.
know? And
Thank God he
it
couldn't
used to
afford
be
condoms.
my dad would go up a pub called the Baker and Basket, which was halfway up Ormside Street, or sometimes he'd go to Rising Sun, which was at the top of sort of corner of Old Kent Road and Ormside Street. And I used to wander, because Mum would sometimes say, go up your father's up the either the Baker and tell him dinner's going to be ready in half an hour, you know. And I'd wander up there, and I don't know how it came about, but one day I found I'd got half a pint of old and mild. Used to drink old and mild.
That sounds rotten, doesn't it?
Well, I liked it. Well, the mild was a sweet drink,
Yeah.
but it's a dark drink, you know,
Yeah.
very
Like
pungent.
barley wine.
Yeah, very pungent in its flavour, very dark, like a Mackinson, you know,
Yeah.
if you know what a Mackinson is. Yeah,
Poor man's Guinness.
yeah, poor man's gets it. And, you know, so somehow I know one day I found myself with half a pint of old and mild in front of my father. Must have said, oh well, I've just bought one
It's
for
time.
myself. Yeah, I've told him have a drink. And there's nothing strict those days about walking in a pub, you know.
Yeah.
And
Pardon me.
so that was it, you know, and from then on. But at the time, mild I think was 3.80 or 4pence a pint, but bitter was another penny. I think it was about 5pence a pint, you know.
Yeah.
But at that time, a man's wages were £2 a week. You know, you did a 40 out.
Yeah.
That's
well,
more than I earn, mate.
It's probably cheaper now than it was, or cheaper I'm going to say cheaper now than it was then.
Yeah, quite possibly.
If you equate it.
Yeah.
Since the average man's wage is about £1,000 a week now.
I wish it was.
So what about your
I started at 9 and 7 pence a week. My wage when I first went to work, my first wage was 9 and 7 pence. That's equivalent to what? That's equivalent to about 47 pence.
For who was that? What was your first job?
My first job, I left and went up Onside Street, and across the road, Old Kent Road, there was Leo Street, and just down Leo Street on the right hand side there was a toy shop, not toy shop, toy manufacturers, you know, and they made rocking horses, they made prams, they made
Vibrators.
all that sort of stuff.
Well, obviously, yeah.
And,
Good old Steve.
I couldn't get a job until I left school at the end of August, and but it was October before I could get a job. And the reason I got a job was that it's coming at the beginning of October. They start making massive toys because Christmas is coming.
Well, they actually made them there.
Yeah, they actually made it. Yeah, they were toy manufacturers, you know. And I went and got a job there. My job was making crates that the toys were delivered, you know. And my job was hammering nails. You had a sort of a jig, you know, on a table, and you put 2 bars there, like pieces of 2 by 3/4 inch timbers, you know. Oh, and some of the main ones were sort of 3 inch wide. But you had a jig, and which showed you what timbers to put where, and you just got the different timbers and laid them on the jig, and then you got your nails bang up, and off came the side of a crate, you know.
Yeah.
And that was my job, hammering nails in for 9 and 7 pence a week. But
Well, and you were overpaid.
You did, I think it was a 52-hour week, because you went to work Saturday, you didn't stop work till 1 o'clock Saturday. That was normal, you worked Saturdays. There was no sort of 40-hour. But
So what happened?
eh?
50. That don't take count of Saturday morning. What time did you start and finish?
Oh, you start 8 o'clock in the morning, but you might finish at 6 or whatever. An half hour for no hours lunch or whatever, half hour. Like a break time enough to eat a sandwich, no time to go home and have a meal, you know.
So what did you have for lunch?
Oh, my mother would make me a cheese sandwich or whatever sandwich, you know, I don't know, whatever she got. And
what happened to your 9 and 4 pence?
What do you do with your first week's wages?
oh, you've heard of that.
Tell me again.
No, I ain't. I've not heard. I don't know.
Your first week's wages, what do you do with it?
I told you.
I swear, I do not know. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'll
I
tell
know
you.
about your mum and shifting sands or something, and that was a sad day.
I got my wage at the end of the week, and cool, you know, count it out. It was in a little packet, you know, count it out. 9 and 7 pence less. What, you know, the necessary tax and what do you call it? Insurance, national health insurance and all that. I never actually got the 9 and 7 pence, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with your 10 pence?
And what I got home and I gave my mother my wage packet with the money in it, and she gave me a shilling. So I got my week's pocket money was a shilling, right? And my mother took the rest. And with that shilling, I went up the corner shop and I bought a tin of beans. They used to have tins of beans. They were smaller tins of beans than what we got today, but nevertheless they were little tins of beans.
You didn't go to Lidl's, did you? Yeah, go on.
No, I bought a tin of beans.
Yeah.
2 ounces of butter. There was a little bit of, because also in those days, 2 ounces of butter, and he'd go like that with a wooden paddle and break a piece off a big block and pat it, make it a little square, and pick it up, put it on it. Oh, put a bit of what do you call it? Wax paper.
Yeah.
You know, they never had all the stuff.
Greaseproof, yeah.
Yeah.
Greaseproof paper.
Yeah.
He put a little bit of greaseproof paper on the scale, then he with the paddles he'd pick it up, put it on and weigh it 2 ounces, yeah, or he'd take a little bit off, whatever. Yeah. I went home with this little tin of beans and 2 ounces of butter. Now, the reason I had those was that beans were the most beautiful thing I ever loved in my life. I loved beans. And the other was, we never ever had butter indoors. We only ever had March, you know. So I went home with a tin of beans, went indoors, and we had bread there, and I cut myself 2 slices of bread.
Shit.
And I sat there, and for the first time in my life, I had a whole tin of beans all to myself. A whole tin of beans. And my bread, I got butter on my bread. Yeah, that's what happened. And that cost me 6pence. I remember it cost me 6pence.
Yeah.
And so, of my 9 and 7pence, my mother gave me a shilling, and half my week's pocket money went on the Friday night on buying myself a tin of beans, 2 ounces of butter, and I was the king of England, believe me.
Yeah.
So that was worth that week's work. All those beans and all this bread and butter.
Yeah.
That was life in those days, you know.
What year was that? When was that then?
1932. I was 14, yeah. Yeah, that was my most exciting.
And now it's 30 bob for a trip on a bus.
Yeah, yeah.
£1.50.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
It's amazing, yeah. Golly.
Buses, they had city buses and London Transport run through Old Kent Road. There was an organisation called City Buses. And their buses were brown.
Yeah.
And the London Transport ones, they were red.
Yeah.
And they both charged a penny to go from Ormside Street from.
No, I don't care. Yeah, I'll drink all your beer. I mean, if you're sitting there tipping your beers out, I'll just keep drinking.
Yeah, look, that's 3/4 full.
Yeah, but I'm not drinking old speckled in. Great beer. No, that's what I'm drinking. Actually, Stella Art. Wow. Oh,
Well,
God.
of all the lagers,
Belgium's original beer, I'll
Yeah.
have you
of
know.
all the lagers, I think that's one of the best lagers. That is not a bad drink.
No,
No.
stop giving me them.
You got about 5 left.
Thank you. I'll buy you some before I leave. Oh dear.
No, that's not a bad drink.
No, they're not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, of course, after Christmas, sack.
You got what?
Oh yeah, I was only taken on for the 2 months or 6 weeks, whatever it was, to Christmas.
So then you
because
went on the dole then?
Yeah, I got on the dole.
They had the dole. I didn't even know they'd do it then.
Oh yeah, you did get unemployment pay.
Bloody hell. Okay.
And in those days, of course, there was the RO.
Well, yeah.
You know what the RO, that was called the RO, which was the
Royal Opera.
the relieving office. To relieve
I've seen them.
We've got them down in... Yeah.
I was hoping for one of them in Las Vegas actually. On my way home. Tell me about the RO.
Yeah. Well, you, according to whether the man's working or not, and what he earned and all that sort of thing, or if he's out of work and so on, you had to go to the unemployment exchange, and according to your circumstances and the number of children you had, and you know.
Woo.
This one.
Oh, good golly. Go on, I'll show you these in a minute. Keep talking.
Yeah, and so at the unemployment exchange they would give my dad a certificate which you then took to the relieving office,
Yeah.
and according to what you earned or hadn't earned, if you're not working, the number of children you got, and your rent was. So you would have on that ticket on the roof 2 loaves of bread, half a pound of margarine, 1 pound of sugar, half a pound of sugar, or what, 2 pounds, and also so much, perhaps bacon, so many eggs, and so on, and it was enough to keep the man's family from starving.
So you
to
didn't
death.
get money?
Oh no! Oh no!
So you got goods
You get
instead of money.
You went then with that ticket to the relieving office. The RO, you called it the RO.
Sure.
The RO.
Yeah.
You went to the RO, and you handed your ticket. There's all a big queue there, you know. And you won't go to the RO. Used to be down Commercial Road, you know, along Old Kent Road.
Sure, yeah.
The gaswork, Old Kent Road gaswork over there, commercial relieving office down there. And next to Birding Bush, I don't know if you know these roads, can remember.
No.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, you went into the relieving office. It was always full up, people on forms, all waiting to go up. And,
It's the same now. Except for
and
a
you sat
different
there.
colour.
When it was your turn, you went up there and you handed your thing in, and the man would hand you your loaf of bread. Or not just half. 1.5 loaf, he'd cut a loaf, you know, because according to you, you're only allowed a loaf and a half, you know, depending on how many children and what your circumstance was, yeah. And you get your bit of bread and your bit of margarine and the various, you know, things to stop you starving, you know, and it wasn't much, believe me, it wasn't much. One of our main meals, breakfast in the morning, was bread and dripping. You know, my mother used to buy.
Yeah, but it had to drip. What did it drip from?
Used to be able to buy an H-bone of beef.
Yeah.
Now an H-bone of beef was, I don't know
Massive.
what, I think it must have come out of an animal's, what do you call it?
Hip.
Hip, yeah. You know. Yeah, what's it called now?
It's called a cow.
No, but what's the bone that you... Pelvis. I think it was that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it had all sorts of apertures, holes, if you like, in this big bone. It used to be about this high,
Yeah.
if not a little higher, and, you know, sort of 6 to 9 inches wide, and, you know, it was quite a big thing. And it had all holes where different joint or whatever, I don't know. But, and the textures of the meat were different, so different.
Yeah.
You know, can I have a bit out, can I have a bit out of that part, you know. And my mother used to put this big H-bone of beef in, and of course you've got all a lot of bone, and there's all the marrow, bone marrow, and you used to get masses of dripping out of this thing, you know. And of course, we kids, used to be masses of thick brown
Batter.
on the bottom of, under the doings, you know. The arguments used to be between our kids. You got one brown on your dripping, I got one mine. Yeah, we all wanted to drip with the brown under it, you know. Beautiful. Oh, we loved bread and dripping.
I remember bread and dripping as a kid.
Yeah, just have it. I never liked dripping much, but I do. I mean, you only ever use it for gravy now. Make gravy and stuff. Oh.
Ah, lovely. And what do you remember about your dad?
Things I remember about my dad. Well, he was a loving father to his children, my dad. My dad was a nice man.
Drops of generation.
I had the pleasure, one day, this was, must be 10 years ago now. Oh, no, more than 10, I thought.
Everything's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, it's 10 years ago. Yeah.
And I remember one day, I was sitting with some of the family, you know, my brother and Jackie Biggerstaff and Nell were there. We started talking, I don't know about we, but they started talking about my mum and dad and so on, you know, because Jackie Biggerstaff and Archie Price and all lived down there, so, you know, because we all lived a sort of very communal sort of, you know, we used to walk into each other's houses, you know, there was no sort of, it's John.
You didn't used to lock your doors, did you?
No, you had you got a poker and you burnt a hole through the door with a red hot poker. Didn't think of buying a drill, you know, if you want a hole in the same, you just got a red hot poker, you know.
Why?
And
Well, I'm wondering.
you just put a bit of string through the hole from outside, and you.
Why not through the letterbox?
No, everybody had the hole in the door with a string.
Oh.
That was the standard
It was
thing.
posh, like if you had a little square hole or.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, you know, most people had the little hole in the door with a string through.
Could you buy the pokers from Next?
What a bloody hell! All right, tell us about the hole and get back to your story.
Carry on.
Well, and the string went through to the door. Everybody had a lock that you pulled, you know, that slid, you know, a sprung lock, you know. And so, of course, you tie it on the lock, take the string to the hole, and it goes through the hole and it hangs down. You want to go indoors, you just pull the string, the door opens, you know. That was standard. And your house
Kind
was
of
like
defeats
that.
the point.
What business you
Don't
into?
know. You know,
Right.
I can't remember my dad ever saying, "Have you bolted the doors?" You know, yeah. And the string hung there. You know. We were a community. I mean, my mother used to have a bloody
Go for a
great
pee.
iron pot. Oh, it probably held 2 gallons. Well, there were 9 of us, 7 kids and 2, you know, and mum and dad. And she'd make these great big stews, vast amounts of stew. And we used to have the stews, and God knows what she put in it, but they were always gorgeous and thick. You know, she made these thick stews. Oh God, we love them. And I remember regularly there was some, always some, and it went to Hallett's, across the road, Mrs. Hallett. Well, she had about 17 kids, you know, and her husband was a porter on it wasn't called British Railways those days, it was Southern Railway.
Right.
And he was a porter on Southern Railway, probably earned £1.80 a week or so. He didn't even earn £2 a week, porter, you know.
So how many kids?
Oh, I can't remember how many, but he had far more kids than we, and we were 7, and he had far more kids than us.
They didn't have a telly.
No, they didn't have a telly. And as soon as we'd all had all our stew out of this stuff, you know, my mum would say to one of us, pop over to Mrs. Hallett, and we go straight across the road to Mrs. Hallett. She was not exactly opposite, but one door down, almost opposite. And we go over, I went sometimes, carrying this big pot with the stew that we hadn't been able to eat, you know. And Mrs. Hallett, oh, thank you, tell your mum. We used to pass all excess food to Mrs. Hallett, you know. Well, people were so poor.
Did it make you wonder what Mrs. Hallett's doing to all?
Can you imagine?
Mrs. Hallett's
Can you imagine
descendants
going
doing
across
that?
the road today and asking Mrs. Brown, "Would you like this stew?" You know, they bloody shoot you, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But in those days, Steve, you said,
Unless it was goat.
yeah. No, in those days, you thought people were cared for each other, you know? And if anyone was in
Them days
trouble,
are gone. They've gone.
anybody in trouble, the neighbours would be over. "Hello Rose, what's the matter?" You know, or, "Hello Bob, what's the trouble? Can I come and do it?" And people would be in because someone's in trouble. Yeah? Today, it's so different. People felt for each other, concerned with each other. We all lived it. I mean, the Lovells and lived in that Olmside street. through, I don't know, 2 or 3 generations. And of course there was a Lovell down there, Nell Lovell. Well, of course, their names changed from Lovell when they married, you know.
Yeah.
With Chickley Webb, their name became Webb. And my Aunt Liz, she became Ford, so she was Lizzie Ford. But they were all basically, they all come from Lovell.
All Lovells.
Oh, they all love from over 84, you know. We became Elliots and so on. And so, you know, through the daughters, all the Lovells, you know, were down the street.
What was your mum's maiden name?
Clara Harriet Lovell.
She was a Lovell.
Yeah. Tony, do you know Tony's doing all the heritage business?
I have heard, yeah.
Well, got back to 1733.
Really?
Oh, wow. He's got people from all over the country. He's finding relatives of ours. I'm not kidding you. He's on it every day. He's really fascinated with it all because he's meeting people. You know? You know? Marvellous. Oh, by the computer, you know, on the old computer. Oh yeah, he loves it. He's finding it.
So what's our heritage? What were our?
We going back 3 generations. We go back to France. We go to Scotland and Ireland. Oh, and Spain. Rose, the name Rose, coming into the family, Lovell family. They were from Spain.
What surname or?
Rose, yeah, surname. But that was 4 generations back, you know. But Tony's not following that because, you see, when you start doing investigating your heritage, people marry this way and that and the other. And you find you go off to so many tangents, but you're lost. You know, you can't do it. You've got to keep with the male side. If you don't, then the women, you know, marry and take other names, and then suddenly you get all sorts. You know, but you can't do it. It's impossible. You've got to stick to the male side and keep with the Elliots the whole time. But he's done quite a bit in the Grahams. You know,
It's gone back to 17 something.
He's done quite. And
I've got it.
friend.
Oh, I've got it at home. I was going to say I got it in the car, but I've got it back in.
It's time you come round home. I don't think of it, you know, but if you come round next time, say, let's have a look at it. But I've only got a little bit of it.
You'll only have to say it once to Tony, won't you?
Oh God, Tony will go off, he'll talk about this, that and the other. I mean, you've got great aunts over in west coast of Ireland, you probably don't know, and he's got photographs. Look, some people send photographs and so on, you know. You've got people in Scotland.
Yeah, he's got a few in Ireland, hasn't he? Yeah.
A few in Ireland, yeah.
Came across to England.
Yeah.
They emigrated.
Well, I'll tell you this, we were told that through the Grahams, who came from, well, my mum's mother, your grandmother, she was Southern Irish, Roman Catholic. Dad was Northern Ireland, he was a Protestant, you know.
Nick's married.
I mean, when I don't know if you know, have I ever told you? When I got married,
You got what in you, sir?
when I got married, me and your mum, her mother wouldn't come to our wedding. Ooh. Her daughter was marrying a heathen. I wasn't Roman Catholic.
She was bloody right.
Beat me to it, didn't you?
Hey, I got
No.